Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. I'm super excited to have you all here today. We have a ton of content to get through and a really in-depth presentation, as well as a super experienced guest speaker on today that I'm really excited about. So I can't wait to dive into this presentation. And again, can't thank you all enough for taking the time out of your day to hop on to this webinar. One of the great things about these is it's connecting folks from all different corners of the world, and we're all here for the same reason, which is to improve our digital marketing practices. So for everyone on the call, I just want to give folks just another minute or two to join. So I always love to warm us up with being able to use the question box feature in the GoToWebinar app. The question box feature is essentially your chat feature for today. So while you won't be able to chat with other attendees, I will be able to see your responses coming into that as we go. So to warm you all up, I'd love for folks to just go ahead and put into the question box where they're calling in from today. Let me know where you're calling in from, where you're located in that question box. I'll call out some of the answers. For example, I'm located over in Boston, Massachusetts, born and raised over here. I love it. So I always love to see all the different types of locations that we get on these webinars. So go ahead and put in those answers and I'll call them out. So we got a ton of responses coming in already. We have Jane from California, welcome. Gennaro from West Palm Beach, welcome. Jade from Pennsylvania, welcome. Kay from Scottsdale, Arizona, hello. Stacy from Indiana, hey there. Craig from Illinois, hey there. Angelina from Palm Beach, Florida. We have Trent from Salt Lake City, welcome Trent. Felissa from Milwaukee, welcome. Chris from Texas, hey there. We have Mary from Columbus, Ohio. She says, go Bucks. I am not a sports fan, but I'll take your word for it, Mary. We have Joe from Indiana, John from Baltimore, Maryland. Welcome, Laura from Dallas, Texas. I just was traveling there, beautiful city. Lillian from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, wonderful. Tammy from Indiana, Paul from Chicago. Tons of responses coming in, and I wish I could call out each and every one of you, but thank you for participating in that. Again, I want to make sure that you're all able to use that question box feature. So again, just say hello, say hi in there. Show us where you're calling in from, and again, thank you for participating. With that being said, we're going to jump into a couple of housekeeping items for today's presentation. So again, welcome. Just so everyone knows on this call, this webinar will be recorded. So don't worry about taking notes or anything like that. You'll get the materials in your inbox later today. And also, just so you know, all our webinar recordings are easily found on the LocaliQ and WordStream YouTube channels. So if you've missed any of our past webinars and want to catch up on those recordings or want to view this webinar's recording, you can also just search LocaliQ or WordStream in the YouTube search bar, and you'll find our channels where you can find our webinar recordings. So again, this will be recorded. As I had mentioned, be sure you have your eyes on your inbox later today where you'll get a copy of the presentation. Also, the reason why I made sure that you're all able to use that question box is so that you can put in your questions throughout the presentation and save some questions for the Q&A session at the end. If you've attended any of our past webinars, you know our Q&A sessions are really in depth. It's a really unique experience to kind of get your questions answered in what feels like a one-on-one setting with an expert. So be sure to save your questions and submit those as we go. And then also, as a hidden bonus for everyone on this call, we wanted to say for all of those who are attending, you also have the opportunity to download the guide version of this report that we're going to walk through today. So if you go to the handout section in the GoToWebinar panel, you'll be able to download that document if you'd like. So for everyone on this call today, I just want to get us on the same page as to who LocaliQ is. Now, some of you on this webinar may already be working with LocaliQ or may be familiar with us, and that's wonderful, welcome. Some of you might be totally new, and that's great too, or some of you might be working with or familiar with our sister brands, ReachLocal and WordStream. So for everyone on this call, I just want to get us on the same page that LocaliQ is a fully integrated growth marketing platform that marries innovative technology and unparalleled expertise to give you the tools you need to help your business prosper and thrive. So how exactly do we do that? We improve operational efficiency for agencies to be more profitable. Our solutions and proprietary technology help you maximize you and your clients' ROI. We also give you the expertise in technology that you need at your fingertips. Our platform uses historical intel and data from over 1 million different LocaliQ campaigns so that you can make data-backed decisions for you and your clients. And we also give access to comprehensive reports. So We're always very transparent with the performance of different campaigns and how you can see all of the different metrics in one easy place. Something that I'm really excited to share and that we're really proud of is that LocaliQ is a premier partner with all of the major advertising platforms. Now, this isn't just given to any marketing platform out there. We have to meet a rigorous set of requirements, including demonstrating thought leadership and expertise within the digital marketing space, and also making sure that we're hitting client success and campaign success metrics for all of the campaigns under LocaliQ. So we're really excited to share that and really proud of it. And a little bit about me, your webinar host and facilitator today. It's wonderful to meet you all. I'm Susie. I'm a senior content marketing specialist over at LocaliQ, where I write educational content on the WordStream and LocaliQ blogs about everything under the digital marketing sun, from SEO to PPC to display ads, anything and everything. I've written about it. And how I've gotten into this role was I was previously a digital marketing consultant over at WordStream, where I was coaching businesses and agencies through PPC best practices and digital marketing best practices throughout the day-to-day. So I took that real life experience and applied it to the educational content that I write today. Like I mentioned, a little fun fact about me is I'm based in Boston, Massachusetts. A little unpopular opinion I have is winter is my favorite season. So really looking forward to enjoying the snow on the weekends coming up in these next few months. You can follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter, or X as we love to call it now. I do share out future webinar events, articles, platform updates, and so on if you're interested. And with that, I'm going to quickly hand it all over to Peter, to our guest speaker for today, to introduce himself. So Peter, thanks for hopping on.
There we go. Sorry. Thank you so much for introducing me and inviting me to join you on this webinar, Susie. I am very much looking forward to it. I've been with LocaliQ for over 13 years already, and this is something I'm very passionate about. Fun fact for me, I have 8 kids, and they range from 19 to 6. So keeps me busy, but it's a lot of fun.
Wow, that is certainly a fun fact, 8 kids. I don't know how you do it, Peter, but that's pretty impressive. And your experience here on this intro slide is also super impressive. So we're honored to have you on speaking with us today. So thank you. With that, I do just want to give one last note. A lot of questions that I get on these webinars is, where can you find more about the topics that we cover here? Maybe you just need a little bit more time. You know, this hour is going to fly by, and we're going to cover some really in-depth concepts. So if you ever want to just take your time with a certain topic or dive into the data a little bit deeper, definitely check out the LocaliQ and WordStream blogs. We cover all of the topics that we cover on these webinars in depth over there. And be sure to follow us on social media. If you want to join future webinars, you can see posts we share with our followers and keep you updated on those so you can register. And we also do share other important platform updates that agencies and advertisers should be aware of. We also share data, reports, articles, and so on. So again, you can find LocaliQ on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, and YouTube. And then same for WordStream, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, Facebook, and YouTube as well. So definitely check us out. And with that, I'm just going to quickly walk us through what we can expect from this presentation today. So we are going to go through the 10 biggest takeaways from our State of the Digital Marketing Agency report that we just recently published. And then I'm going to go through a little Q&A with Peter, which I'm super excited for. And then we'll leave you with a few thought starters and action items that you can walk away with, and leave you time to ask your questions to Peter and myself. So with that, I do love to warm us all up with a pop quiz. If you've attended any of our past webinars, you know I love to keep our attendees on their toes. So go ahead and type into that question box. What do you feel like is the biggest challenge your agency is facing right now? Or alternatively, if you feel like you're not really facing many challenges, what are some of the greater successes that you've seen your agency have so far? So I just love to hear just a little pulse check, get us start thinking about how our agency is doing, what digital marketing processes might need improvement, where we still are looking to change or improve, where we're doing really, really great. And I'll call out some of the answers here. Okay, so some responses already coming in here. Stu said client acquisition is probably his biggest challenge, which is definitely understandable. I feel like, you know, that's an uphill battle for many agencies out there. So great call out there. A couple other responses in here. Some more folks saying getting more clients, definitely understanding that. Drawing in customers, Deborah said, definitely is another kind of on the same vein, but definitely a big challenge. Organizing and reporting, definitely one. Tammy says acquiring growth and profitability. Absolutely. Betty said selling digital against all the other traditional media outlets, definitely understandable as well. Benjamin says enterprise clients cutting vendor costs due to the economy, understandable. Paul also says client acquisition and automation. Cindy said providing better reporting, so definitely looking to improve their reports, understandable. Carmen says it feels like we're always having to pivot with changes to our clients' needs, how to support them without going out of scope. Also understandable. Tons more responses here, and I wish I could call out every single one, so thank you all for participating. But basically my point here is, if you notice, while there were some commonalities between the responses, there were different responses from many different types of people and agencies on this webinar. And I want you to keep that in mind as we go through this presentation. While some of the data or some of the key takeaways might not always apply to you, be thinking about how it could apply to your specific situation and your unique business needs within your agency. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Peter to take us through the data.
Thanks, Susie. I'm here to share that after a brief hiatus, our State of the Digital Marketing Agency report is back. This year, we surveyed more agencies than ever before, collecting responses from over 300 agencies from across the US and Canada. Businesses ranging from sole practitioners to large-scale agencies all provided their insight to help us create our most comprehensive report yet. The end result is our popular State of the Digital Marketing Agency report in 2023, which reveals a wealth of valuable strategic information about how agencies price their services, what services they offer, their biggest challenges, and much more. Information you can use for your 2024 planning and to help you better understand your competitive landscape. So the report itself contains more than 30 pages packed with competitive data, but let's dive into 10 of the biggest takeaways and see what they could potentially mean for your agency. So takeaway number one. Our data shows that the hybrid billing model has grown in popularity over the last 5 years. 5 years ago, in our State of Digital Marketing Agency report in 2018, flat fees made up 50% of the pricing models that agencies used at that time. In our 2020 report, flat fees dropped to 33% of the pricing models, and at that same time in 2020, hybrid billing models grew to 33% as well. But this year, almost half of all the agencies we surveyed are now using a hybrid billing model, and the flat fee model has dropped yet again to just 24%. So what does that tell us? If you are like 24% of the agencies we surveyed, and you're still only charging your clients a flat fee or retainer, regardless of the size of their media spend with you, 2024 might be a great time to reevaluate that strategy. Please consider charging a setup fee or strategic planning fee in conjunction with a fee based on their percentage of ad spend. Setup fees, those have evolved over time. 5 years ago, when hybrid billing models were much less common and flat fees were more prominent, our 2018 report revealed that 40% of the setup fees being charged back then were between $1,000 and $2,500. Fast forward 5 years later, and this year, nearly 50% of the reported setup fees in our 2023 report are for under $500. So agencies are typically charging less for their setup fees than in years past, but are now charging a percentage of ad spend in addition to those setup fees. And this is a much better model for agencies because this model provides the flexibility for agencies to price their services in a way that benefits their clients while still compensating them fairly for their time and efforts, which in my opinion is the main reason that we've seen hybrid billing models become the dominant pricing strategy in 2023. Takeaway number two. Are you curious about what services and add-ons other agencies are charging additional fees for? Well, we've done the research for you. Turns out that landing page creation was the most popular, followed by image ad creation and display creative. Now, this all makes sense because these are all time-consuming marketing activities that require both expertise and creativity. Plus, effective landing pages and strong creatives are all crucial to the success of any digital marketing campaign. So for those reasons, in my opinion, all agencies really should be charging additional fees for those services Don't give away your work for free. There is tremendous value in the work that you do there, and it should be priced accordingly. Now, aside from creative services, custom reporting and tracking were some of the other most frequently offered valuable services that agencies are charging additional fees for. These services can also be very time consuming, so it's important to ensure that you're getting compensated for the time spent on those efforts as well. Keeping all of these services in mind when evaluating your business plan for 2024, because if you are like 25% of the agencies we surveyed that are not currently charging any additional fees, you may be undervaluing your expertise and minimizing your potential revenue. Remember, by offering as many of these services in-house, even for an additional fee, which we are encouraging, you're adding value to your overall service offerings, you're making your clients stickier, and you're increasing revenue for your agency. Okay, so let's go to takeaway number 3. It's interesting to see the mix of services that the agencies we surveyed offer. Social ads, content, and creative services led the way, followed by SEO, search advertising, and email marketing. All these strategies continue to be desirable and cost-effective for such a wide range of businesses that it makes sense for agencies, especially those that want to offer their clients digital marketing services, to offer their clients as many of these services as possible. When reviewing this data from previous years, it's interesting to see how relatively consistent these top services have been year in and year out. And it's also clearly evident that almost all the agencies we surveyed are already offering multiple services to all their clients. So, what does this mean to you? I believe it's important to look at this list and evaluate what services you are not currently offering your clients, and then consider adding those to your offering mix in 2024, whether it be done in-house or outsourced. Because we all know that the more touch points that you can have with your clients, the less likely they are to go somewhere else. This brings us to takeaway number 4, and this one piggybacks on takeaway number 3, and I don't have to tell you that this is good news. Most clients will run multiple services with one agency, and this even has the potential to be great news, because the more services that your clients run with you, the better the chance that you'll be able to retain them longer and upsell them more. Keep in mind, if you are running only 1 or 2 services with each of your clients, you are doing both yourself and your clients a huge disservice. And you may need to ask yourself, are your clients even aware of all the other services that you have to offer? Because we've heard of numerous scenarios where businesses are working with multiple agencies only because they didn't realize that one of the agencies that they are already working with could have fulfilled all their needs. So if you are like 39% of the agencies we surveyed that are only running 1 or 2 services with their clients, remember that you are minimizing your revenue potential, and perhaps even more importantly, not providing the best experience for your clients. And your clients, well, they'll inadvertently end up working with other competitive agencies in order to fulfill all their digital marketing needs, and no one wants that. So make sure that you're always evaluating your business to determine what additional products and services you can add to your mix, because over 60% of the agencies we surveyed were already averaging 3 or more products or services per client. Okay, takeaway number 5. 41% of agencies offering search advertising services are spending 2 to 4 hours per week per client managing their pay-per-click strategy. And even more surprising, 16% of agencies are spending 5 or more hours per week per client. So why does this matter? It matters because time spent managing pay-per-click campaigns can add up very quickly. And time spent doing that can hinder your agency from onboarding new clients and from adding more services to help retain your existing clients. So if you're spending more than a couple hours per week managing search for each of your clients, we really want to encourage you to consider outsourcing or researching automated tools. This is actually LocaliQ's sweet spot, allowing agencies to support existing digital, scale to new clients, and free up valuable time. So definitely think of us when you're forming your business plan for 2024. Takeaway number 6. Most of the agencies that responded to our surveys had employees wearing multiple hats, from account management to sales, reporting, and more. I'm sure a lot of people in this webinar can probably relate to this. And when we looked at the data, it was surprising that more than half of the agencies surveyed didn't have any employee fully dedicated to sales. This is despite the fact that new sales are a key driver of growth. So here's something else to ponder. Think of your own employees. You likely all have those Swiss Army knives in your team who manage multiple duties. But it's also important to recognize that this also means that you're only one employee away from possibly not being able to fully support all your clients or run your business effectively. So evaluate your business and really ensure that you have the right number of staff performing all of your key duties from sales right through to account management. Look, growing an agency while also preserving its distinguishing characteristics and priorities is a delicate balance. That's why it's important for agencies to keep scalability in mind as you build out your teams and offerings. Take the time to figure out, are there ways to delegate more? Are there ways to outsource more? Are there ways to structure your business so that you can provide a better client experience and still continue to grow? In our full report, you can find additional information on agency structures, so be on the lookout for that as well after our webinar. Okay, takeaway number 7. A good tech stack is essential for agencies trying to do more with fewer people and resources. Unfortunately, there is no one-size-fits-all option for marketing technology, but a good tech stack generally includes tools for the marketer's most pressing needs, like analytics, content, customer relationship management, and SEO, to name just a few. Tools that LocaliQ provides, like marketing automation and targeted email marketing, also continues to be important for agencies. But one new addition to the list is the prominence of ChatGPT. This AI tool has become an important resource for agencies and marketers who are looking to automate tasks that are more, let's say, time intensive. LocaliQ recently held a webinar about AI in marketing, so we're looking at that trend too, and we're implementing AI ourselves in a number of the technologies that we already have, and to the benefit of our clients. We'll be keeping a close watch on AI to see how the use of AI tools evolves and impacts agencies moving forward. We know that regularly updating your tech stack seems like a daunting task and even perhaps an expensive one, but it's important to review your marketing strategies and goals and then make sure that your tech stack includes everything you need to help you meet and exceed those goals. So make sure to prioritize this in your 2024 planning process. All right, takeaway number 8, we're almost there. Let's talk about managed spend. 34% of those surveyed saw their spend under management, or said their spend under management had stayed the same in the last year, but 53% said their spend under management has grown in the last year. In fact, 26% have grown their managed spend by more than 25%. Like, wouldn't that be a great place for everyone to be at? What's interesting is that search advertising was the highest driver of growth from a service perspective, even though it wasn't one of the most prominent services offered by the agencies we surveyed. So what does that tell us? This shows how effective search advertising can be at driving revenue for both agencies and their clients. So if you are not currently offering search advertising to your clients, or your search advertising growth has plateaued due to resource or time constraints, talk to us here at LocaliQ, because we specialize in mass migrations and scale, and our dedicated team provides a full service approach to getting search advertising campaigns up and running quickly and flawlessly, while at the same time offering specialized support all along the way. We would love to partner with you in your growth. It's also noteworthy and encouraging to see that new clients were the biggest driver of growth when it came to the type of sale, especially since this is such a prominent challenge for agencies. And finally, an increase in current client spend was the second highest driver of growth, which speaks to the importance of retaining clients and continuing to offer additional relevant services for them to run. Between the stressors of the current economy and the stressors that come with coming out of the pandemic, it's encouraging to see that agencies have still been able to grow their managed spend, even if it's at a slower rate than what we've seen in the past. Takeaway number 9. As we found in previous reports, client referrals are still by far and away the top source for acquiring new clients, followed, albeit not closely, by content and digital marketing. Look, we all know that referrals are the lifeblood of any business. They convert better, they have a higher lifetime value, and they typically take less time to close. So always look out for opportunities to thank your clients and ask them for a referral. Do not be shy, just do it. To steal a line from a marketing campaign that I vaguely remember. But as amazing as referrals are, if you're still struggling to find new clients, maybe try switching things up with things like self-promotion on social media, or even by partnering on podcasts. Perhaps even go old school and try sending handwritten thank you cards to your clients and ask them for referrals that way. I mean, who doesn't like receiving handwritten cards? We have additional ideas for how you can differentiate your agency in our full report, so be sure to check it out. And last but not least, takeaway number 10. Getting new clients has been a consistent top challenge for the agencies we've surveyed for as long as we've done this report. And for the agencies we surveyed this year, getting new clients is still anticipated to be a big challenge. But economic conditions and uncertainty is now the top challenge they're worried about for 2024. 5 years ago, back in 2018, when nearly half of the agencies surveyed saw their managed spend increase by more than 25%, agencies were not worried about any upcoming economic conditions. But as we head into 2024, following a year where the number of agencies that have grown by 25% has been cut in half from that same number 5 years ago, it's easy to understand why this challenge tops the list. Time management, competition, and hiring and training new employees rounds out our top 5 challenges for 2024. From our perspective here at Local IQ, with continued fears in a slower economy, we recommend things like outsourcing where you can. Rather than hiring full-time employees in-house, find ways to partner with other agencies or businesses to handle activities such as account management, billing, and HR. We also recommend identifying your growth opportunities with additional services, and then consider outsourcing them to companies such as Local IQ to make your clients stickier and to maximize your revenue potential. And finally, we recommend really focusing in on retaining your clients. It costs more to attract new clients than it does to retain them. So focus on delivering great customer service, results, and great reporting to keep your clients happy and your agency in growth mode. Focusing on these recommendations will help set you up for success in 2024, regardless of the headwinds that you might face. And that, my friends, rounds out our top 10 takeaways from our State of the Digital Marketing Agency report in 2023. We really hope you'll spend the time to check it out. Back to you, Susie.
Thank you, Peter. That was extremely in-depth and super helpful. It was a really great breakdown. So thank you for going through all 10 of those takeaways. I know that was a ton of information. My head is spinning. I'm sure everyone on this call has a lot they want to take in here. And I have tons of questions, Peter. And it turns out so do other agencies. Yes, so a lot of the agencies that we worked with while putting this report together had some common questions. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to ask you a few of those top questions that we see come up that I even am wondering myself. So I'll kick it off, and I want you all to just kind of listen in. We'll hang out on this slide while I ask Peter some of these questions. And again, just to take a quick break here for 1 second, I do want to answer a couple of the questions that I'm seeing coming into the question box. Just a reminder that this webinar is recorded, so you'll be able to get the recording after the call and find it on our YouTube, and you will get a copy of the presentation. So with that said, Peter, my first question to kick us off is, how many agencies does a typical customer work with?
It's a good question. You know, this information, unfortunately, is not in our State of the Digital Marketing Agency report, but we do know that this number can vary significantly based on the industry and the size of the company. And it can vary from just a couple to like more than a handful. You know, what we've heard from our direct clients is that there's a call for simplification. Businesses that in the past have signed up with agencies that are considered best in class in different service areas, which is fine until they have too many agencies that they're working with and it's no longer manageable. So businesses are looking for agencies that can help them with multiple strategies to keep it all manageable on their end, which is great news for agencies as they look to create deeper ties and more lasting relationships with all their clients. And it makes evaluating your business in 2024 even more important. You know, what can you outsource to companies such as Local IQ? What can you add in-house? The more services that you can offer while still delivering amazing customer experience and amazing results will be key to any agency's growth in the upcoming years.
It's interesting for sure. I appreciate that takeaway there. And thank you for that. And what would you say is the most common digital product that an agency offers?
So our data show that there was a mix of services, but by far the leading digital product was social ads. That was followed by SEO, search advertising, and email marketing. Search advertising is the one I want to call out though, because as I previously discussed, it was the largest driver of growth last year and made up the largest portion of the agency's clients' advertising spend. And so with the adoption of hybrid billing models, the more ad spend that an agency can manage, the greater their revenue will be. So, if an agency is not managing the search advertising of their existing clients or not managing their social advertising or their SEO or any of their other marketing endeavors, it's definitely worth exploring if there are partnerships out there for your agency, like the ones we do at Local IQ, that can help you grow your business. I mean, you need to have the ability to offer all these products and services to your clients, or you risk having them go somewhere else.
Great. Thank you for explaining that. And to be honest, it didn't totally, your answer doesn't totally surprise me. Those are usually the bigger channels that people tend to market on, right? The social ads and SEO and so on. So with all those different products, taking that into consideration with this next question, how do you budget for search, display, or digital in general?
So that is a challenge that a lot of agencies struggle with, that we know. I mean, we have built a tool that truly simplifies the budget creation for our prospective clients. Instead of spending countless hours researching what an effective budget should be, or even worse, guessing at what an effective budget should be and potentially under budgeting or over budgeting these campaigns, our tool considers the vertical's competitiveness and the density of the geographic area that business wants to target. And then it looks at the total available impressions, the cost of impressions, and how many impressions that can be won by that business to formulate a budget range that can be shared confidently with our prospective clients and gives them options on whether they want to be representative, competitive, or prominent in their advertising efforts. As a partner of ours, the agency would have access to that type of tool.
Great. Okay. And then, so you mentioned in some of the takeaways about how agencies are potentially using some AI tools and so on top of other just general tech stack tools. So how are companies using AI to be more effective and efficient?
So there are several types of AI and a diverse number of ways to use them. And it's something that we've been exploring and utilizing at Local IQ ourselves. For example, one of the things that we've done is we built prompts, and we actually have a prompt engineering team that uses AI technology to write about 80% of our text ads now. And then we put human eyes on it to simply review it and make sure it fits what the business is trying to accomplish. And we use other types of AI to help us build creatives that are proven to convert based on the ad type. And this type of integration with AI gives us the ability to reallocate resources to other areas of our business, which, as everyone knows, is vitally important these days.
Absolutely. And I will also just piggyback off your answer here to this question, just so everyone on this call knows. We've have recently published lots of data around AI in marketing on the Local IQ blog, and I can reinforce that it is super popular. 2/3 of businesses are already using AI to create outlines and drafts. One of the top use cases for AI in marketing right now for agencies would be to create social copy. That was one of the more popular. Email copy as well is extremely popular. So there's tons of different data points on how AI can be incorporated into marketing correctly, right? So with the last question that I have here for you, Peter, is how much time should an agency allocate to manage digital spend?
That is a tough question to answer. I think it really comes down to what an agency specializes in and what they want to spend their time and effort on. I strongly believe that it's important for agencies to spend time on what they love. And so, although I can't give a specific number of hours that should be spent managing digital advertising, I can share what we found in our report is that, we're seeing roughly 46% of agencies spending more than 25% of their time managing just paid search for their clients. And that is a lot. That is a lot of valuable time and resources that could be used to, grow your client base instead, or expand your products and service offerings. We know, we use our own tools and our own AI And we have a team of service experts that do nothing but manage campaigns all day long, because we know that you're not only setting the campaigns live, there's ongoing optimization, there's testing, there's updates that have to be made, so we know it's a lot to staff for, but it's also why we partner with so many agencies to take that heavy lifting off their plate and give them back, the time and resources to grow and focus on their agency.
Great answer there too, Peter. Thank you for answering all of my many questions. And I know there's tons more questions coming in, so we'll get to all of the questions coming in on this call in just a few minutes. But with that, I do want to give you all some thought starters and a few just key points to keep in mind as we move forward away after this webinar. So some of what you need to know from this report is that don't be afraid to outsource where you can. Rather than hiring full-time employees in-house, partner with other agencies or businesses to handle certain business processes to make your life easier. We have found that as a common theme throughout our data was that outsourcing where you can is definitely the way to go for agencies. We've also found that identifying growth opportunities ahead of time, just always reevaluating, doing those types of different analyses, exercises to see where you can grow, what you can try new, and keeping an open mind is really going to make a difference in the coming year. We see platform changes rolling out all the time, different restrictions rolling out for different industries all the time. I know we all have clients probably in many different industries here. So be sure to be flexible and identify those different growth opportunities where you can, because we know the space is constantly changing, so should your strategy. And then also focus on client retainment in the coming year. Focus on delivering, that great customer experience, the clear and easy to read results to keep clients happy, and of course, just increase the reputation of your agency as well. So with that, I am going to launch a quick poll. I know this was a ton of information here. So with this poll here, it is going to take over your whole screen, but if you feel like you have a lot more questions, I saw a lot of questions coming in about pricing of different LocaliQ services, different specific situations within your own agency. Definitely make sure you hit yes on that poll if you have, more questions, you have questions about your unique situation. This is definitely going to be the best route to get your questions answered in a one-on-one setting. So definitely go ahead and hit yes there. That poll is going to continue to take over the entirety of your screen. So if you have that poll up and hit answer, you can just sit back and relax. We're going to switch into an audio portion of the webinar where that poll will stay up, and I'm going to jump into Q&A with you all, with Peter here. There were a ton of questions coming in, so while we leave that poll up, I'm going to start reading out some of the questions we had. And Peter, there were a ton of great questions coming in, so I can't wait to dive into this Q&A session.
Sounds good.
Okay, so great. So one of the first questions that I want to start us off with, a few people have asked this, but basically someone had asked, I've heard that there are companies that have programs that incentivize agencies to outsource their services. Does LocaliQ, do you have a program like that?
Yes, we definitely do. It's quite, I guess to put it simply, the way it works, the more you run through our platform, the more of a commission or rebate that we can offer back to the agency. And it's something that has been very valuable to the agencies that we already partner with, because it creates an additional revenue stream for them. And it also makes their clients stickier. So I encourage anyone who's interested in expanding their service offerings or creating new revenue streams, to let us know, and we'll be happy to show you how our agency programs work.
Great, thank you for summarizing that for us. Now, a few questions came in throughout your presentation as well. This first one comes from Tammy. During those first couple of slides here, and I think this is beneficial for all of us to get on the same page for this. She asked, what does a hybrid billing model mean? Do you mind kind of explaining that a little bit more?
Sure. Hybrid billing models it's kind of become more prominent, as I said, over the past few years. But it basically just means that you're charging your clients in a variety of ways. So instead of, in the past you have like just a flat fee or just a retainer, or maybe it's just billable hours. A hybrid billing model means that you're combining that with like a percentage of spend. So however much ad management you are doing, you're putting a percentage on that you would charge them, in addition to charging for a setup fee or a strategy assessment or something of that sort. So it's basically just a combination of like percentage of spend, flat fees or retainers, and or billable hours.
Great, thank you for explaining that. Now, there were a few other questions coming in here. Now, one of these, I feel like we've already kind of touched on this with that first question that I asked, but John, and I just want to clarify here, John asked, where do you recommend agencies find white label full service digital partners? Now, I can probably assume that we can say that Local IQ is, of course, one, right?
Yes, we would be the perfect one to start with, obviously. I mean, that's a shameless plug for the stuff that we do, but I mean, there are, you know, I'm sure there's multiple agencies out there that you could look at, even just doing some Google searches, but you know, we would definitely encourage you to look at our product offering and see, you know, if it would fill any of the gaps or holes that you feel you might have in your own agency. Great
answer there, and I appreciate you just touching on that, reinforcing that we do offer that, in fact. Now, some more, a little bit more questions here about just kind of general practices within digital marketing. Mark here had asked, with Google looking to automate more and more, how does Local IQ feel that this is going to impact things like managing search campaigns?
Oh, I think it's, you know, it makes our business even more vitally important, I would say. I know that, I don't know if anyone here works for Google, but I mean, Google is in it for Google. They're one of the, you know, they have one of the largest revenues of any business out there. So yes, Google is always automating tools and, you know, creating and using AI to, you know, help you improve your campaigns. But it's also, you know, important to remember that, you know, you want to keep those things in check, because, you know, a lot of times, you know, Google will drive you more business, but it might be at a higher cost per click, which is costing businesses more money to get those leads. Whereas tools, you know, that we use and tools that we could provide you are designed to, you know, try to minimize the cost per click and get your clients a better return on their investment. So yes, there's, you know, Google's always coming out with new technologies and strategies, but I think it makes our jobs even more important to kind of help keep them in check and make sure that our clients are getting solid ROIs.
Great answer there. And just one last question here. And it was more an observation that I just thought I would get your thoughts on. John here asked, I have seen a shift with clients moving budget towards lower funnel tactics and specifically into search where they see highest conversions. Do you feel like that same trend applies to the majority of agencies that you work with? Do you agree with that? Any thoughts there on that observation?
Yeah, I think that's very accurate. I mean, that's probably why search advertising has been the biggest driver of growth, as, you know, agencies start to, you know, recognize from their clients that, you know, they want these lower funnel leads, these, you know, highly desirable, highly convertible leads for their business. So yes, that's part of what makes us, you know, makes our partnerships work so well, is that, you know, a lot of the creative pieces that the agencies might be doing, we utilize those, and, you know, we help to, you know, drive these leads down to these lower end funnels, and then provide search advertising campaigns to help convert them and bring them a better ROI. So I would agree 100% with that.
Makes sense to me. Well, thank you so much, Peter, for all of these insights. A ton of questions here. Clearly, you can tell that Peter and I could talk about this all day, but for the sake of time here, we are going to wrap. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Thank you for participating and joining. Be sure to keep your eyes peeled for future webinars. We have another one coming up the week after Thanksgiving, so keep your eyes out for that. We do the webinars monthly, sometimes twice a month. So again, thank you all for joining. Peter, thank you so much for your insights. This has been great, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.